Alrighty, so I did record an entire video, and it was the first time that I had uploaded a video without checking it, and of course, the one time that I did, I completely forgot to change the audio. So I apologize for that. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to re-record it. So for those of you who look forward to my videos and I wasn't able to provide that early day review, I do apologize. I've been super busy. I also didn't get to run an event because I was far too busy. And yeah, but hopefully I will be able to run some more events and some other stuff in the future. I'm just currently swamped, but that will be alleviated soon. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about Excalibur and whether or not you should spawn her. I'll be completely honest, I completely forgot what she does, so we're going to experience it together. She is, I believe, 100 and something. Let's do the math real fast. 50, 100, 60, 70, 175. So she's on the cheaper side to actually spawn. And that is good. If I remember correctly, she's pretty good as a PvE. Let's take a look at what she does. Oh, first, watch the animation. It's pretty good. I mean, definitely nothing outstanding. So she hits one enemy. So she doesn't hit all the enemies. She just hits one random enemy a total of 10 times for 1,000 ability power. That is extremely weak in PvE and PvP. Now, the exception in PvE is if you have a boss or some singular monster, you will be doing a pretty good chunk of damage because it'll just hit the boss. In PvP, it can be really good if there are only one or two enemies on the enemy field, and that tracks when it comes to guild battles as well. However, keep in mind that both Star and Light will be able to reduce the incoming damage, so it's quite easy to stack defenses, and a 1,000 ability power is on the higher side, but it's not exceptional in any way. The reason why Pandora is so oppressive is she hits 20 times for, I think a little bit more than 1,000. I don't have her, but the main thing with Pandora is that she is fire, which means that there's only a single color, which is water, that can help you defend against her. Hang on one second. All right, sorry, I'm back. So yeah, the reason why Pandora did so much damage, she doesn't really do a lot of damage now because of how much HP you have, was because it was really hard to build against her. This monster is really easy to build against, so don't expect to be killing people. Let's continue. 200% buff, that's pretty good. Absolute, also pretty good. The triple proc can be really good, but without elevation, you won't be triple procking constantly. So really when you have absolute, you want elevation as well. Vital Strikes is good, but it's a unique buff, which is good. But the reason why Vital Strikes is usually really good is because of its uniqueness. If you don't have things like Keygen or Dawn or crit damage, ability power boosting, these types of buffs are significantly better than just Vital Strikes. So keep in mind that Vital Strikes is a good buff, but it is not a main buff, and it is more like a unique niche buff where not a lot of monsters give it. However, recently there's been a slew of monsters that have given Vital Strikes, so that's kind of interesting. Applies debuff removal resistance against karma or removal effects one time. We'll have to see if that's significant. There have been a few monsters that have removed this and then debuffed. But the fact that this monster is not a priority monster means that it's not super reliable. It's kind of hard to tell, though. A lot of people have been surviving unis when it's 5v5 in Clash or in like in guild battles or in PvP. A lot of people have been surviving till the end. So having another monster apply this could actually be very powerful. Having a priority monster apply debuff removal and then this monster apply debuff removal could be good, but it's not significant. At least in my view currently, I don't think it'll be so significant that it's worth mentioning. Skirmish, it's an okay bubble. It helps you build. 50k, it seems like 60k is going to be the end of like the monsters at the end of 46 cost will be 60k. We can kind of get that assumption from the orchestra monsters that they released. They were all 60k, and historically speaking, even if they transcend cost, so you have one at 45 cost, one at 46 cost, they all give the same amount of stats. And since 45 cost did not end with 60k, we can kind of assume that 46 cost should end with 60k. We'll have to see how that turns out, but it seems like they're leaning towards 50k, so pretty standard, a little bit better than some of the other stuff, some of the 46 cost monsters though. Rage, that's pretty good. Rage, Dawn, and Serenity all overlap, so you can't get multiple buffs. Also, Rage stacks or is replaced by a bubble, the stats. There are not a lot of monsters that give Rage anymore, but there are a slew of monsters that give Rage that are really excellent in the past. Prohibit, Unison is one of the most important things right now and has always been one of the most powerful buffs in the entire debuffs in the entire game. So having resistance against it is incredibly good. Unis are king. It's called Unison League for a reason. Blind is pretty good. There are quite a few characters that can apply blind even without unis. So ninja, soldiers, I believe archers can also apply blind. So blind is important, and not being able to hit the enemies can be significant as well. This is the main aspect as to why I think that it's mainly going to be a PvE monster. Generally, when you see elemental attack on a uni monster and no defense, you can't really realistically use it in anything other than PvE. That might be a little bit different now. They've buffed HP so much that there is a possibility that even without a full lineup of 10 good monsters to give lots of uni defense, that you may not need it anymore, especially with percent uni downs, uni defense coming out. There's a potential that it's not even really necessary to have 10, but you won't be able to run multiple of these. You'll probably still need 8 or more. But this is very good. It is a new high. Keep in mind, though, that this is quite different than the one that came out a while ago. The one, I believe it was a wind monster. It is significantly harder to stack wind than it is to stack light, dark, star. So just to put it in perspective, I'm running a star set, or a dark type of set right now. You can get additional elemental attack on all of your weapons. And because you can get light, because dark, for example, dark beats light and time, if you apply star, dark, and light, you can get an additional point. Essentially what this means is that the total value for your sum, so in this case 35 plus 42, the total value of elemental advantages that you can get as a light, dark, star advantage is significantly higher than what you can get with time, water, wind, fire. The average is probably 100 plus is quite normal for elemental advantage. I personally can reach 100 quite easily, but many people go past 100 total element when you're trying to build light, dark, star sets. Now, when you're building time, water, wind, fire sets, the highest that you can reach is, I don't believe you can even reach 100. You might be able to get close, but I don't think you'll be able to reach 100. I think most people will sit between 60 and 80. That means that when you have a monster that is like the last monster, for example, was a wind monster. She is giving 5, and this dark monster is giving 5. So the ratio of additional stats that you're gaining from wind is significantly greater than with dark, because the total number, the total value of your potential elemental advantage is lower with wind. So to put this in perspective, if you gain, for example, if you gain 2 extra element and the maximum element is 5, that is a massive percent of, that's a massive boost to your damage, right? But if you only gain, let's say one additional element, and the total that you can get is 100, so you're going from potentially like 99 to 100, you're just getting one additional point, that is significantly lower. It's not nearly as valuable. And that's what I'm talking about. So the water, wind, fire, and time elemental monsters that give 5 element are going to be significantly more impactful to your total damage and stats than light, dark, star monsters. So I kind of don't like that they didn't jump to 7 for the light, dark, star, or maybe even higher than 7, like 8. Because it's just not worth it. I don't think that this is so significant. What is it? This is like an extra 2 element. You can get free monsters that give +2 element. So you get like a +3, right? That is not incredible. I mean, like this one gives +2 and it gives +1, right? So you're going from a +3 element to a +6 element because she gives 5 plus the 1 that she gives right here. Out of a +3 out of 100 and potentially 10, 20, something like that. I mean, that's basically nothing. If you multiply that across 10 monsters, yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's an additional 30 element, but you're never going to be able to, you're not going to have a good variety. So generally with these types of monsters that give elemental advantage, you can only use them in the back 5. And she's not really good enough to even use. She's better in the back 5. So the best that you can do is a +15 on the element. So just these back 5 monsters. +15 on the element is good, but when your maximum is like 120, +15 isn't that much. It's like it's like around 10%. It's a little bit less than 10%, right? Or a little bit more than 10%. Sorry, a little bit more than 10%. Now, if your maximum, for example, for water, wind, fire, is 80 or even 60. I think most people sit around 60, but the maximum, I think you could probably get 80 before, right? +15 to 80, that is a massive amount. That's like 25-ish%, really close to 25-ish%, I'm pretty sure. It's at least 20%. But hopefully you see my point is that it's much more anyway. So just be aware that it is good. It's really good for the back 5 monster, especially because it gives blind and prohibit. I'll kind of talk about that now. Actually, I guess we'll start with the backline 5 PvE monsters. I think she's a 10 out of 10 for backline PvE. If you're really wanting to do PvE, having Unison, prohibit, and blind resistance both of those are really excellent. 80 is a new high, and +5 element. You'll be able to use this monster for at least a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And for 175, she's worth it. I think having one monster, she's probably worth it, especially for new players. Having one good light dark star monster is good. Yeah. So I really like her as a backline 5 monster. Now, when you're actually using this monster, I am not a big fan of her. I don't think that she brings what is necessary. For example, A monster that came out, 2 years ago now, is better than her. I always compare monsters to Wind Valk, right? Wind Valk is like the baseline for a lot of monsters for me. You're getting an additional 20% stats in everything. So a little bit of a boost, but 20% is so small. You're not even really going to notice it. This one gives elevation and absolute, which means that you're going to be triple procking like nobody's business. Same thing, skirmish. But this one gives Keijin. Now, Keijin is significantly better because ability power is, the more ability power that you have, it's like an exponential growth. You want ability power, and this gives ability power, plus it gives accuracy and penetration. It's just so good. And you're getting an additional 10 stats. This monster, this Wind Valk, is better than Excalibur. Just straight up for PvE. So do I think that she's good? Yeah, she's like, Excalibur, she's fine. But she's not top tier. Even when it comes to other monsters that give 200%, she's like decent, right? I don't have the Dark Valk, so my best comparison would be Fern. Fern gives 180 stats plus absolute, really similar, right? They both give basically the same buffs. This one, however, gives Serenity. When Serenity expires, it gives you 100% uni. Really helpful. Phalanx is garbage. I'm not gonna lie, Phalanx is garbage. The Unison gauge gains is actually really useful in a lot of situations, but the monster that just came out is barely better than a 44 cost. Just put that in perspective. So I'm gonna say she's good for PvE. She's like a solid 7 out of 10. I mean, you can use her. And for free-to-play players, she will be useful. I think that she's absolutely worth it for free-to-play players, but she's not amazing. Now, when it comes to PvP, you're missing way too much. No uni gain, no uni down, no field, no enemy field, no crest, no protection or disables on the enemy to the enemy fields. Nothing like that. No penetration, minimal damage. Honestly, I don't put a lot of characters at a 0 out of 10 because I think that some characters have value, but this is a monster that I would probably put it at 0 out of 10. You do not want to use this monster in PvP. When it comes to, and also no diffusion, there's just too much that you're missing. When it comes to guild battles, I think that she can actually be quite useful. She does give a lot of really powerful buffs, the 200% buff, absolute, vital strikes, all really nice. Also, she can kill when there's only a few enemies left on the enemy team. And she gives rage, which there's not a lot of monsters that give rage anymore, but it was really, really popular. So there's lots of monsters that give rage, and it's not a super uncommon buff, but it's okay. Overall, this monster is fairly good for guild battles, especially in the current meta where you are building and then throwing 5 monsters all at once. We'll just start with a classic. If you're using this as a racing monster, 0 out of 10. There's no buffs that are worth it. As a counter throw, this isn't good either because you want monsters to apply enemy fields, you want to steal crests, you want to deal damage and kill people. This doesn't do any of that. Like against 5 players, you won't even notice that you used a damaging uni. It'll look like a prio uni. So just be aware this monster does not do damage. Yeah, it's really bad. As a 5v5 throw, if you throw this last or second to last and you have a good lineup of other monsters that are filling all of the gaps, you have the enemy field, you have probably 2 allied fields in case they applied disable to the field. You have a crest monster, you have some monster that boosts critical damage and critical chance up and Keijin and ability power boost and elevation. If you cover all of the bases, she's good. She can fill a good slot. You need other monsters though. So just be aware, horrible solo throw, really good in a team. I would say that she's a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 with a team. But just be aware, she's not good alone. All right, let's talk about the other stuff, because these weapons, I think a lot of people are just going to ignore these weapons. But I'm going to say don't sleep on these weapons. Now, the first thing that I'm going to point out, which I don't normally point out, is the elemental advantage. These are 7. I don't think I've ever seen any other monster or any other weapons that give +7. You know, +5 used to be the highest. And then they came out with the non-elemental stuff that was really good. And against Light Dark Star, those were like, you could get basically the same thing. But these are +7, which means that Light Dark Star, Light Dark Star, you're going to be able to get +2 additional in your synthesis in the synergy skills, like these here. And you'll be able to, I'll just show you where those are. So you'll be able to get these 3, and this will give you a total of 9 element per weapon. Let's see if the weapons are actually any good. They max out at XL, which is okay. Unfortunately, you need 5 pieces of dark, which I don't like. That is hard to stack, but it is what it is. Dark elemental weapons, in my opinion, are better than like types like sword or axe. So that's good at least. 7XL, not the maximum, but really close to it, so can't really dock it too much. Performs a crit. There's so many recent procs that have not been performed crits. I don't know what a team was thinking. Performing crit has been in the game since its inception. So like, it's crazy to think that there are procs that don't guarantee a crit. Just guaranteeing a crit is like already above a lot of the recent procs. 15%, you're not going to notice the difference between 10% and 15%. It's like, you know, whatever. But it is really nice, especially for PvE. People don't realize that this saves lives. Cost recovery 15, really good. Keep in mind, we are missing some things. We're missing uni, we're missing success value up. So any class that requires success value, just be aware this is not a top tier proc. Good examples of success value classes are like the Lancer and the Bowman, and I don't know if mages still require it. I don't think so, but for example, rooks and soldiers and clerics, none of them have any success value issues. So this is really good if your class does not require success value. And what I mean by that, here, let me just go in like extra today, showing everything. So if it says success value not 100, this is a bad proc. And the reason is because it doesn't help you increase your damage. We want to hit. If we're just missing, it's missed damage. So yeah, just be aware this isn't for every class, but it is really solid proc. Honestly, for PvE, for the classes that do not require the success value up, even if you do require success value up, you could probably stick in 2 of these and you wouldn't even really notice. Especially if you're throwing lots of monsters. There's lots of monsters nowadays that give stuff like Kijin and Twilight that can boost your accuracy. So there's a lot of incentive here to use these. And honestly, I would say these are a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. It's kind of hard to place exactly where I would put this in terms of longevity for 46 costs. That's the main issue, is I just haven't seen enough 46 cost procs. Sometimes they come out with crazy procs with new costs when they upgrade from one cost to another. Sometimes they don't release any good procs the entirety of the lifespan of a cost. So we'll have to see. But overall, the element, I mean, this will be something that you should be able to use for a solid couple years. 47 costs, or 7 element will be good. They have not boosted, so they didn't boost 5 plus 5 was the meta for the last 5 years. So, or 4 years, it was around COVID. Oh my gosh, it's like 7 years. Yeah, it's been the meta for a long time. Plus 5 came out the same time that the original Delusion stuff was going on. So if you're curious, you can go back and watch how difficult Delusion was. But yeah, Should be good for a really long time. That's the gist of it. Now let's look at, I guess I should cover like PvP, PvE, like guild battle stuff, right? So really horrible in guild battle, doesn't penetrate, doesn't give you anything, doesn't give you, well, it could be good for a racer in some situations, but you really want unigain for racers. If you're really struggling with cost, this could be good. But the element gives you nothing against the crystal, because the crystal has no element. So that's not really that great. And we're also missing percent damage up, which is essential for dealing incredible amounts of damage. Yeah. So, yeah, not good for guild battles. I'd say like solid 4 out of 10. And then for PvP, no pulverize, no. There's another word I'm blanking on. Basically, there's no penetration here, and that makes it pretty bad for killing people. There's also no unigain, which makes it really bad for racing. There's almost no reason to really use this besides if you just have it. So I'd say a solid 3 out of 10. Crits are good. Let's look at the armors. Now this is where I got pissed off. What is that? Lowers the effect of cost reduction by M, so 20%. Resistance constant skill 2. Okay, keep that in mind. Cost reduction by M. Okay. Lowers the effect of Unison gauge reduction by M. Lowers the effect of cost reduction by M. Resistance constant skill 2. You can only equip 2 of these. And you're telling me you released one of these pieces of gear that does half of a 45 cost piece of gear. I mean, like, what are we doing here? When you max these out, they upgrade to 25% because they'll go to M+. When you hit level 7, they'll go to M+. These are awful. Do not upgrade them. If you really, really need this type of gear, sometimes they come out in the free slots. I don't know if they'll do that anymore, but they might. Honestly, it's just, I would just use this as fodder for other 46 cost armors and stuff that comes out. But yeah, this is really disappointing. The defense gear is garbage. Maybe the elemental advantage is, like, the elemental value would be worth it. I personally never use elemental value, but I know that some people do use elemental value and it can be useful. At least they tell me it can be useful. I think it's a placebo, to be honest. But yeah, that's my 2 cents about this gear. So do I think it's worth it? For new players, getting one of these Excaliburs is good, because you can use this monster for a few years. You'll be able to use this backline gear, especially if you're into questing and PvE and stuff like that. Really solid. The weapons are also pretty good. You can't really go wrong, especially for 175. Solid monster. I mean, really good for 175. Now, would I spend 600 gems on it? Depends. If you're really into PvE, or if you're a single elemental person, so if you build nothing but dark and this is your element, she's really good. I mean, you'll be able to, if you get 5 of her, you could boost your damage by a pretty significant amount just in the weapons and having 5 of these in the backline. But I would personally never do that, so just be aware of that. But yeah, I think she's top tier, especially for free-to-play players. 100% spawn it once is worth it. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. And yeah, I will make a video right now about this. I have not read any of these, but I've heard from others that they are good, so I'll take a look. All right, catch you guys later. Thank you.